one, and we're live.
And we're live. Yeah, Alan Smith.
Cheers, Jeff. Cheers, Jeff.
Jeff says like one word, they cut him off. Cheers, Jeff.
Cheers, Jeff. All right, everybody, we're back the day after UFC 263. Adesanya, Vettori, Figueiredo, Moreno, and we had our own Stockton 209, Nate Diaz versus Leon Rocky Edwards. We're gonna do a recap for the card. We're gonna be talking mainly just the main card, and then we're gonna talk about a couple fights that caught our eye in the prelims and the early prelims. Yeah, because we had some names in the early prelims like Chase Hooper and the guy that injured himself in the 7 seconds. That guy, and we're gonna talk about the Lauren Murphy, Jojo Calderwood, and Chad Dobert versus our boy Brad Riddell, and then we're gonna move on to the main card. All right, Dill, let's go.
Yeah, so I mean, we're probably gonna skip over Chase Hooper because like the book on him's kind of already out, right? He's not really ready for the UFC. He's only 21,
Yes.
and like he's gonna get out muscled. He doesn't really have any striking, so just give him like a bit more time. Just don't like throw him to the UFC guys. He's just gonna get like destroyed.
He's gonna get
So
got. Yep.
like my favorite part about this card, like I didn't get to see this fight live. Like I just got home like right after it finished. Was Terrence McKinney and Matt Frivola. So Terrence McKinney was coming off of 3 first-round knockouts from like March.
Yes.
He fought last week in like LFA, I think it was.
Yeah.
Got a first-round knockout there, and like his last 4 fights now have ended in like a minute and 20 seconds each. So like it's the craziest shit ever. Like imagine like you coming in like UFC debut, you're supposed to be like all have the jitters and everything, and
Yeah.
it's like nope, let me just do a 1-2 down the pipe and kill my guy, and that's it.
So Frivola, is he like a UFC vet or?
Yeah, no, he's had like 6 fights now, like 2, 3, and 1. Like he's
Uh,
been he's been like not like the most like talented guy. Like he's got some losses against some good guys like Sarukian.
yeah.
So
And
he's just known for having like an insane chin, like a reliable action fighter, and like
yeah.
it's like he didn't even get a chance, right? Like
7 seconds is all it was, and
uh,
he's 31 too. So like at 31, you got to be looking at like collecting some wins. But again, yeah, he's probably one of those like
yeah.
below 500 kind of fighters now.
Nah, but if he like provides reliable action, he's gonna get kept on the roster. But like my favorite thing about that was like McKinney did more damage to himself than Frivola did.
Yeah.
So it was like what Johnny Walker did like a
Yeah.
couple years ago now, where like
Mhm.
he flying needs the dude and or like knocks him out really quickly. I forget what exactly happened, but then does the worm and
And
destroys
then
his
destroy
shoulder.
his shoulder. Yes, I remember that. Okay, so that's from the early prelims. There's only those two fights that caught our eye. Even this fight. There's this fight with Ziam and Vendramini. I was watching this fight. It caught my eye because Vendramini, I think he was losing the fight. He's a short guy too. He was losing a fight, and the third round came in, and it just felt like he was taking over. Pretty much, he's lost the fight now. He's like, okay, I have to do something, get a knockout or something, which he did put ZM in trouble. But again, the majority ZM survived, and the majority decision was there. So
Nah,
yeah,
but he probably wished it was like Diaz rules.
yeah, 5 rounder for Dramini, man. Luigi. All right, let's move on to the
I hear no
prelims.
bell.
All right, let's move on to the prelims. We had Mean Hakeem Daoudou,
Our guy, Canadian baby.
the Canadian guy. We were all supporting for him, and we were all rooting for him. And then he gets murked by Movsar Evloev, 15 and
Okay,
0.
but here's the thing, right? Like featherweight has a bunch of those guys where like there are a lot of the guys looking out from the like top 5 to like top 10 range, where like they have these crazy long win streaks and then just nobody fights each other in the top 5, so you don't really move up.
Yeah,
But Hakeem coming in on a 3-4 fight win streak, not like the most convincing wins along the way, but he earned that big opportunity to get a top 15 guy. He was supposed to fight Shane Burgos, but then got injured.
yes.
And that would have been a much better statistic fight for him, at least.
Yep, yep,
His whole thing is like straight Muay Thai guy. So
yes.
the one hole he has in his game is the wrestling and grappling. So
And he exposed it.
and he gets an undefeated Russian with
Yeah,
the
15
master of
and
sport and that shit. So
there you go. Daudu though, like the first 2 rounds was pretty crap. In the third round, he was kind of landing good shots. The
he
crowd
hurt him
got,
a few times.
yeah, he hurt him. I don't think he was like hurt like that. I think he was he
Not
caught him.
hurt, but like
Yeah,
ooh.
yeah, he caught him like a couple of times. I think that's if that that's how the fight goes. The first 2 rounds, it's Dawodu's fight, but then overall, we knew what happened. It was just a wrestle session for the first 2 rounds. Now moving on for Lauren
Yeah, but
Murphy.
like I just want to talk about that a little bit more. Like I was just disappointed in Hakeem's like takedown defense. Like you know who you were gonna fight, right?
Yes.
Like you should have been knowing that. And his like best thing is like the knees and the clinch.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that much about that. I
Hmm.
mean, I guess you could have gotten timed and taken down there, but
Yes.
like knees to the body would have helped him earlier in the fight, just to like slow down the gas tank too.
Yeah, first 2 rounds he was pretty bad in the takedown. In the third round, he still got taken down, but he did well. He made some good moves while
He
trying to
still
get.
won. He won that round.
Yeah, so he did well to get back up. I think it was kind of like a slow start for him in terms of like get it
Mhm.
going with the wrestling takedowns and
He,
everything.
he he always starts slow, but like yeah, this is where like I'd want him to get like a striker next time up, just so
Yes.
like we get the full value out of him rather
Yeah.
than just like him just gonna get taken out and losing.
You think he loses the ranking or he's gonna stay in
I
the
mean,
ranking?
it's tough to say.
Yeah, he's
It
15
depends
and
on yeah, he was 50, it's 15 and 14, so maybe he doesn't lose one.
yeah, and I think Evloev moves up
Is
for Burgos.
is Ryan Hall ranked? Because then he could
No.
probably just slide in to 15 if they want him to.
Yeah, no,
Because he's fighting soon.
he's not
Because they
ranked.
just do that, right? They just do that. Like, if somebody's fighting soon, it's like, oh, let me just bump you up in the rankings. Like, they did that with, like, Thiago Moises, and,
Yeah.
like, when he got the Islam fight, he moved up, like, three.
Yeah, you could do the Burgos Dawodu next because Burgos is gonna drop down to 14 because
Yeah, but I would much rather, like, Sadiq and Burgos, because I don't
that's
think Burgos should get punished.
yeah, that's
He's, like, he is one of the fighters that, like, you'd rather, like, you'd watch him fight anybody, so,
yeah, that's a
yeah.
good fight. That's a good fight. I don't know what about Giga though. I think Giga Edson makes sense, but Edson won against a good competition.
That
So
makes sense. Just
yeah,
like solidify Edson in that division, but like
yeah,
Zombie and Ige, I think should fight Arnold Allen.
that's a good fight.
So
Great fight
yeah,
for them.
but
Zombie
Zombie and Ige is the next week too.
next
So
week. Yeah. All right. So you want to move on to Murphy Calderwood now?
yeah, so this was a not an like unofficial title eliminator. Like there's no real like other person you could throw into a title fight for this division against Shevchenko.
When we say that, we both know that they're both gonna get sacrificed. It's just,
Yeah, but like you earned the opportunity, right?
yes,
Like you got
yes,
to give it to him. But like Calderwood coming off the win against I, and then Lauren Murphy coming off a
4 fight
like
win
short
streak.
notice. Yeah, but 4 fight win streak and coming off a short notice win
Yes,
against Shakarova or somebody.
yeah,
But yeah. So the whole thing with this is like we knew Murphy was better on the ground,
yes,
and like Calderwood's a more volume person
yes.
with like a more diverse striking game because like she's straight Muay Thai person,
Hmm.
but like over the years, like Calderwood's gotten better with the wrestling defense. And this, like in the preview, like it's just this had split decision written all over it. It's
Yeah.
just who has the more volume.
Hmm.
I mean,
I was kind of
uh,
surprised that you and Ali, you guys scored it for. I don't think Ali scored. I think you scored it for JoJo, right?
I'm
Or
biased because I like that team, but like still, like I thought, like in the first round she did more.
hmm
I think that was easier to score that for Calderwood. I mean, it was a very close round though for the opening round because I think that's what it comes down to.
yes. I think you could
Uh,
argue, but my point was like you say she did more, but I think what Lauren did, I think was more significant with what Lauren did against JoJo. It looks like
yeah,
she landed
yeah, it's a
strikes.
difference of opinion.
Yeah. So it's just the first round, and the second round was clear Lauren Murphy, and then the third round, JoJo kind of caught up with what was going on, and she was doing what she's supposed to do, like you said, working the clinch and do what she's supposed to do. But again, I don't think it was enough. I think she was Murphy was up 2-1 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the second round is a 10-8 too.
Hmm.
So, I mean, live scoring is like, I mean,
It's different.
I have to rewatch it every time. But
Yes.
yeah, I thought it was a draw or like a Calder would win if you called it like second round of 10-9. But
Hmm.
yeah, I didn't notice that the first round was like that close
Yeah.
when I was watching it. So yeah, I mean, it's just tough to say because Calder would for sure would think you'd get robbed, and like Lauren Murphy now has five straight wins, so she's just gonna get Shevchenko.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's never gonna be a main event. So maybe it's a main event on like fight night card or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Good fight though.
or like a co-main or a third title fight on a pay-per-view card. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what Lauren Murphy could do against the
Yeah.
Shevchenko
No.
because
Nothing.
Shevchenko could just counter the shit out of her,
Everything.
and the ground game would be kind of cool because I mean, I thought Andrade was going to do more with the ground game,
Mm.
but
Valentina just came out. Valentina just showed out. Valentina just showed out. She said, "Listen, man. Same with Lauren Murphy. Her striking is so like it's so slow compared to Valentina. Like Valentina is just overall better everywhere. And I do see like a
Mhm.
knockout on the second or third round.
She just brings more volume, but like
Yes.
volume doesn't matter against Shinchenko because
Yeah.
that's just more counter opportunities.
100%. And her skill set is way superior to Lauren Murphy.
Yeah,
That's what
she's
like
just gonna eat counter
a
lefts.
100%. 100%. Okay. Do you want to talk about any more on that fight, or should we move on to our favorite buddy, Chad Dober?
I mean, we're gonna skip over Eric Anders and Darren Stewart. This kind of shit fight. Both
Yes.
like not the highest level fight at all. Like both of them are 500 level guys. But yeah, so Drew Dober coming in with number 13 ranking. Brad Riddell coming with some hype coming off a city kickboxing team. And a
Yes.
couple like 3 wins in the UFC now. So yeah, so this is opportunity for Brad Riddell to come into the rankings and for Drew Dober to defend his spot. And me looking like into this fight beforehand was just like Dober has more power, but
Mhm.
Riddell is just a much better technical striker.
I watched the fight. What like okay, like you said for the JoJo fight. When you're watching the fight, I had it scored for Dober because the first two rounds was like okay, he rocked them. But then when we were talking last night, you're like okay, but look at how Riddell like he's landing clean shots on him. But then my thing was like I'm prioritizing rocking more to like having clean shots on someone's head. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's more significant than just landing clean shots, which I do think caught up eventually with Dober in the last minute or 2 minutes of the round, the third round for Riddell, that he was getting hit clean all the time. But then I was like, first two rounds, I gave it to Dober, and third I gave it to Riddell. I generally thought that Dober won the fight, but I'm actually interested in how you explain Riddell winning the fight.
I mean, it was a unanimous decision too. I think it was 29-28 on all
Yes.
cards. But see, the thing is, like watching it live, I was like, Riddell is winning the end of these rounds, so like I think the judges sometimes go towards that, like in a close round at least. Like you're like, okay, they're going tit for tat anyway, so
Hmm.
like what's the lasting impression on me for this round? And Riddell was getting the like better end of that stuff. So I think Dober clearly won the first round because he dropped him and he was doing more. But
Yes.
this is okay. This might sound stupid, but like his hair also gave him like a bad like
It does.
outlook,
It
right?
does. She
Because
said
like
it does affect.
every time he was getting hit, like
Yeah.
but like it went all over the place. Like you knew he was gonna get hit, or no, you knew he was getting hit when his hair moved, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he was eating counter shots the entire time.
Yes.
Didn't put his hands up, didn't move his head.
Yeah. In the pocket
Riddell
and
like
whatnot.
moved
Yeah.
it. Yeah, Riddell moved a little bit more, but like Dober's whole game plan, I feel, was like just eat one and then fire one back and hope you
Yeah.
land. But he was landing some nice straight left hands down the pipe, and I think at the end of the day, like Riddell was more varied in what he was throwing. So
Sure. Okay, so first round we clearly gave it to Dober. Third round, I mean, Dober got rocked, but even before getting rocked, I think Dober was winning that round for me. I think you could argue
yeah,
that
no,
he won that
I
round.
think Riddell was winning the last 2 rounds.
You think so?
Yeah,
Okay. I
I
think
didn't think it was all that controversial.
I don't think it was controversial. But I think it was kind of like you could argue. I don't think it was controversial. Argue like you can make points for both sides, but then Dober getting like pretty much getting finished in the last round kind of like takes that all away. Okay. So we're done with Dober and Riddell.
Mhm.
We can move on to the main card now. We got our Scottish lad, Paul Craig and Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill being undefeated 8-0. Paul Craig just beating Shogun Hua in the second fight with him.
And he's on a 3 fight finish streak or something, I think so.
Yeah.
But dude, coming into this, I was like, Hill is gonna feed Craig with combinations. Craig is not the best striker at all.
Hmm.
He's just a pure grappler and he usually just pulls guard. So I thought Hill was just gonna feed him like
Yeah.
2 Ps, 3 pieces,
Yeah.
all that. Like, and then just get an easy KO in the first round. But like,
Then we
I
saw
was
what
wrong.
happened. Then we saw what happened. The return of Mario Yamasaki. Well, listen, man. The fight that watching from my perspective, I watched the fight like you said. Paul Craig, striking wise, couldn't match up with him. But then the ground game, like he made
Even
sure,
doing
like
that bad on the feet, right? Like it just, I mean, granted, it just started, but like
yeah,
he landed some nice front kicks to the body. But
yes, yes, and
when he
then
got in the clinch, he pulled guard.
yeah.
and then
Perfect.
it's his world, right?
That's his fight. And then the way he made them transitions from the guard to
Yeah, he kept going overhooks on the other arm, so
yeah.
and then going for upside armbar, and like Hill just wasn't reading it at all. Like it happened really quick, and then before he knew it, his arm was like bent to pieces. So
Yeah. Like we're not jujitsu practitioners, but we do understand the transitions and we try and learn how it goes. But that transition that he made to isolate the arm was beautiful. And then for me, like I think he was the Jamal Hill guy. Like you explained it to me later on that he wasn't tapping. He didn't even know that his arm was broken. Is
yeah,
the,
like
uh,
no, his arm wasn't broken. Like it was dislocated, but
oh
it looked bad, right? Like it
yes, it
looked like
was.
okay, yeah, there's no way he could fight, but obviously like his hand was like flopping around and it was open palm, so he thought he was tapping, but like
Yeah.
if he was gonna tap, it would have been with the arm that was actually working. He never tapped,
He
but it
never
was just
tapped.
the ref
Yeah.
that stopped it.
So
But
beautiful transition, horrible stoppage.
no, but this is where like Hill was being stupid. Like he should have like disengaged as soon as possible. I think he was like
I don't
the
think he
ego
did.
got the.
I don't
I
think he
think
did.
his ego got the better of him, right? Like just you know where you're like you were like you know where you want your fight to play out. Like if he's just on the feet on the outside, he's gonna win there
Mhm.
every time. So
I see
I
what you
think that's where
mean.
like some of the inexperience comes in. Because
Yeah.
then again, right? Like he only has 8 professional fights, and
Yes.
he's already in the UFC. So
Yes. That plays a huge part, man. We saw the same thing with Chase Hooper. He doesn't have that many fights, 10 fights, and he's already in the UFC and he's 21. I feel like some of these guys, they just get rushed into the UFC so quick just because of the potential, and then
no,
they
but
don't come
like
through and they get
he
released and they
has
come back.
he has the skills, but
Yeah.
like it's just the awareness and like the IQ where like okay, this is happening to me. Like how can I get out of this, or how can I start winning from here? Like how can I like impose my will on them rather than them trying to do whatever they want?
Yes.
Because we knew what Paul Craig was going to come in to do. He wanted to grapple. It was a striker versus grappler matchup,
Mhm.
and lately the grapplers have been winning all of those, right?
Yeah.
So like we saw from the previous card too, like every grappler just beat the shit out of the strikers. So
Yeah. Where do you think Paul Gregg goes from here? He's like what 13 now. He's 14. He got Jim Crute above him. He got
yeah,
Sergeyov.
but Jim Crute submitted him too. So like Craig
Uh,
has lost a bunch of fights, right? He's not like he has some momentum now,
yeah.
but it's not like anybody's clamoring for him to like get a better like a top 10 guy coming out. I
Yeah.
think like I think the book on Paul Craig has been kind of written
Hmm.
where you know he can finish anybody,
Hmm.
but like he needs reliable action, but he's not going to be the consistent guy that's going to go for belts.
Why don't you
Like
do Johnny Walker
it's
instead
crazy.
then?
It's no, but it's crazy how he has a win over Ankalaev, who's
Yeah.
been absolutely killing people.
Exactly.
Because Ankalaev was beating the crap out of Paul Craig for 14 minutes and 30 seconds, and then Paul Craig gets a friggin' Hail Mary triangle, and then gets a submission with 4 minutes 15, like 1 second to go.
Yeah.
It's the craziest shit ever.
I feel like
But
he's learned more now, Paul Craig, on how to like take the fights into his own world. Like one of those fighters, like Damian Maya kind of guys. Like they will try and trade
no,
with you, but they ultimately we know what's coming.
yeah, no, but like I feel like a lot of people are way too willing to try to grapple with Paul Craig. Like he
Yeah.
kind of forces it upon him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the whole thing with him is like he just doesn't give up on these submission attempts. Like he's
Yeah.
just so dangerous.
Yeah.
Like no matter what time, how much time is left.
Hmm.
Like he got Kennedy in Cheku with submission late. He got Ankalaev with a submission late. Like you can never count Paul Craig out.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like he's an exciting fighter for that division. Even though not striking wise, just grappling for grappling fans. Like it's a great putting him against like a Johnny Walker. I feel like would be a great matchup. But again, Johnny Walker probably wants to fight up than fighting
Yeah, yeah,
down.
no. Walker is fighting Thiago Santos in a main event in September,
Ooh,
so that's already made. But
that's a good fight.
my whole thing is like I've seen Paul Craig get knocked out, like Alonzo Menifield, who isn't that great, but he's
Yeah.
got like insane KO power. Like
Hmm.
Paul Craig tried to play the grappling game, like trying to pull guard, and Menifield literally just hit him once with an insane right hand coming down and knocked
Yeah.
him out.
Yeah.
So that's the risk he runs. But this is where like the Volkan Ozdemir is coming back from a knee injury, and he's coming back from not getting knocked out by Prohaska. Acceptable loss, but I feel like Paul Craig and him are like reliable action fighters in that division where I think it lines up for both of them to fight each other.
Yeah.
Granted, both of them are like their timelines match up and like Vulcan's healthy and everything.
Hmm.
But yeah,
That'd be a
so
good test for Paul Craig. fighting Vulcan, and for Vulcan too. Like after that KO, that's good matchmaking right there. Because Vulcan, like okay, let's be honest, if Vulcan is not getting a fight for a top five, not right now, not
I
right
mean,
now.
he had his run, he had his title shot, and
Yeah,
now like he got exposed, like his ground game got exposed, his cardio got exposed.
yeah,
So I think for Ozdemir, you just got to pick like you got to fight like just get momentum back and get
yes,
the fans back on your side too.
yes,
So he had that knee injury in October, I believe,
yeah.
and now it's June. So like I think like it's coming around the time where like he's
You could book
looking to
him
book a fight,
probably later in the year.
or yeah, or like a Nikita Krylov makes sense too.
That's a decent fight
So
for him. Yeah. All
see
right.
something like that. But like Ryan Spann and Anthony Smith just got a main event too.
Hmm.
So light heavyweight is getting booked up.
Yeah.
So
We like to see that. We like to see that. We got
yeah.
Dom Reyes at 5'2". We don't like to talk about Dom Reyes. We got to give him a rest for now.
Yeah, no, he's gone through too much, man.
Yeah. All
Like
right.
Misha Serkinov just got knocked out first round. Like it's I think it's either a Vulcan or a Nikita Krylov fight next for Paul Craig.
Yeah,
So
makes both make sense. Top 10 guys. Okay, let's move on to Damian Maya. Probably his last fight. Uncle Dana confirmed it in the post fight as well. That's
yeah,
Damian
last
Maya's last
fight.
fight. And then
Yeah, his last fight on his contract.
Bilal Muhammad being ranked number 12th, and Damian Maya being ninth. Good fight for Bilal Muhammad to get in the top 10. Right? Decent fighter. To be honest, I'm not sold on Bilal Muhammad. I don't see what else he does against top five, top seven guys. To be honest, I don't think he's a top guy. That's just my opinion. I don't think he's like a top caliber guy. He's a decent fighter, and he's gonna be like a 5 to 10 rank kind of guy in my opinion. Damian Maya, we already know the story on Damian Maya. Losing this fight, probably it is his last fight. I don't think it does very well for Bilal though. Like you have above Bilal, like he's ranked 9 now, probably 9 or 10th, right? I don't think it does so much for Bilal because you got Neil Magny there. Neil Magny's not gonna fight down. You got Masvidal. Masvidal's not gonna fight Bilal Muhammad. Michael Chiesa, he's on a 4-5 win streak, probably looking to fight in top five. You got Vicente Luque, probably looking to fight your top five. You got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Gilbert Burns, booked up already. Like you could do Bilal Muhammad versus a loser in those matchups, but I don't really see like Bilal Muhammad like in any of those fights. To be honest, it's probably like a loser situation. Loser of Burns Thompson, loser of Chiesa's next fight, or loser of Masvidal's next fight, something like that. But I don't think him being like a big guy in there.
Yeah, no, I mean like I think the ceiling for him is like what he's already at now. Like
Yes.
I thought this was like really unfair on Damian Maia, right? Like this is his last fight in the UFC, and this is like one of the greatest Brazilian fighters in the UFC. Like he's all over the record books.
Yeah.
Why would you give him a guy like Bilal? Like
Who's
just give him another grappler or something. Give him like an older guy. Like don't just give him a guy who's coming up. Like that's just not the way that should have gone.
who do you think they should have given him?
I mean, like a Cowboy Cerrone like before would have made sense,
Yeah,
or
the Morono fight.
like if or like an Anthony Pettis before he left, but something along those lines where like
Yeah.
he would have like no matter what happens like you see a good fight like you don't get like you aren't like disappointed like we didn't need to see Maya do that right
We
like
didn't need that. Yeah.
the book is out on Maya right like if you can defend his takedowns you win
Hundred
and
percent.
Bilal did that but he also did the bare minimum which is why this was almost a lose-lose fight
Yep.
because Bilal had to knock Damian Maya out to get like momentum
He didn't win
because
the fans at all, man, for this
that's
performance.
what I'm saying. He didn't even get he didn't even get an interview, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a huge thing. So this is where it's like Bilal is gonna have to fight down now. He's probably gonna have to fight like the winner of like a Kevin Lee and Sean Brady.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
So
or you could do Ponzi. Ponzi's back, 13th
Ponzinibbio
ranked.
Ponzinibbio makes sense, but I mean like I kind of want Ponzinibbio to get like an action fight too.
Like Magny.
Granted, Bilal Muhammad he already beat the shit out of Magny though.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? Like second thought, that does make a lot of sense to me. Like
Yeah.
Bilal and Ponzi, because you could do like a 5 round main event
Yep.
almost for that one.
And I think
Like
both, and
they
it's
both
both, and it's good for both, man. Because I think Ponzi's an action fighter and Bilal's not. So I feel like if Ponzi comes out of the fight like sick with a KO or a dominant performance in terms of striking, whatever, I think that's a good look for Ponzinibbio to get
I
like,
think Ponzinibbio destroys him,
yeah,
but yeah,
same,
I'm not sure
same,
about that one.
same.
Because like they both main evented before. I think you could do like a 5 round main event for that one. Like if Zombie and Ige, okay, Zombie is gonna main event in every fight he fights, but still,
Yeah, of course.
the point is you could make that a 5 round fight, like just we're in whatever city you want, or like I think those are all going to happen in the Apex the rest of this year, so that would fit right into the mold of what's like the fights they've done before.
Yeah.
So and then whoever wins that gets like proper momentum. And like this is kind of just a waiting game in the welterweight division too, because like Colby Covington isn't gonna like if he's gonna fight Usman, okay, book that right now, right? Like don't wait
They
around.
should, yes, yeah.
Leon Edwards, like we're gonna get him later, but like where does he go from here? Um, there's just a lot of moving parts and a lot of people who deserve better opportunities,
Yes.
and it's
Leon
kind
is
of
a
just
sad
like it's
situation.
kind of just like a dick measuring contest right now. It's like I'm on this fight win streak, I'm on this fight win
Yeah,
streak, and
yeah.
like I may not have fan support, but like I'm on like I've done all I can in the octagon. Like I
The thing
deserve a better
is,
opportunity.
think about it with Edwards though, Dill. Like, okay, he's on a 10 fight win streak, but I don't think he still deserves a title shot. 10 fight win streak, but look at the type of fights he's been in, right? I
Mhm.
I agree with people being like 10 fights, bro. That's so much, and you gotta give him a title shot, bro. But where are the top 5 guys? But that's not his fault. That's not his fault.
That it's not his fault. Okay, well actually we could just get into it right now. That is the next fight. So the thing is, I mean, we're talking about like what's next for him, but like even before this, there was an open invite to fight Leon Edwards. This is literally like in soccer, like right click transfer list.
Yeah,
Anybody can have him.
yeah.
From literally October, November last year, like they were
Yes,
throwing him Chimaev.
yeah.
They were strong arming him to fight Chimaev. So he accepted Chimaev 3 times. He accepted Bilal Muhammad, who 13th ranked, going nowhere. Like he accepted Colby Covington. Wasn't like they didn't give him Colby Covington. Gilbert Burns is already fighting Wonder Boy. Like Colby Covington and him would have made so
So
much
much. It
sense
makes
back in
sense right
March.
now. If Usman don't want to fight for the rest of the year, make Colby Edwards for the
No,
title.
but Usman wants to be active. Like this is where you just throw him against anybody.
Okay,
You
fine.
don't need
Make
to.
Colby.
You don't need to be a deserving contender anymore to fight Usman.
Yeah.
So this is where it pisses me off that Colby Covington doesn't fight because I don't get how you're parading on a freaking win over Tyron Woodley and going like, "Oh, I deserve a title shot." His greatest claim to fame right now is
Yeah.
beating 35-plus-year-old contenders, and like all of his wins have aged so poorly.
Hmm.
And like I don't think he was doing anything super impressive in those fights either. Like he was just following blueprints that other people wrote out on those people. There was nothing
But again,
spectacular he was doing.
yeah,
So the whole point I'm trying to get into is like he's done more interviews than actually fighting,
hundred
right?
percent. Yeah.
Like your whole claim to fame cannot be like, oh, I lost a close fight to the champion where I was left knocked out, jaw broken, a bloody mess on the floor.
But
That
again,
cannot be your claim to fame.
but that's the end of it. But you're not looking at how the fight went itself. It was a great fight. It was a great fight
It
to
was a
watch.
great fight, but the way it ended was definitive. There was no
Yes.
like, there's like, okay, in a rematch this goes different. No, in a rematch the fight would look very similar.
And I think Usman
Like
knocks him out early now.
that's what I think as well. But this is where like the champion cannot be the most active guy in your division.
Hmm.
That guy fought 3 times now before Colby last fought, and Colby's last win it was a guy who's now on 4 straight losses out of the promotion.
Fighting
That
Uncle
cannot
Dana.
be that cannot be your number one
Yeah,
contender.
yeah, yeah. The most ideal situation here would be Edwards and Covington for the title eliminator, but Uncle Dana just keeps on pestering us with Colby Covington's the next title shot. So,
Hmm.
so I feel
Okay,
like
yeah.
generally for Leon, wait it out or see if you want to fight the winner of Burns and Thompson, because that is a good fight for him. Because Burns can
No,
get
but
a title shot off
if
of that.
yeah, no, if Gilbert Burns wins, him and Edwards makes the most sense.
Most
But if
sense.
Wonder Boy wins, he gets a title shot. This is where Leon Edwards is in the worst possible situation. This fight against Nate was supposed to get him fans. That's what was supposed to happen. He was a 6-1 favorite. He was supposed to style on Nate, like kick his leg, kick him in the body, finish him eventually if he could. Like this is the perfect style matchup for him. A guy that was going to be there to be hit and not do that much damage. There was not a
But when you
finishing
say
threat
be
there.
ahead, like no, when's the last time someone's knocked out Nate Diaz, bro? Like, okay, I feel like it's a lose-lose situation. They thought of acting like it's a good fight for Edwards to gain fans. Like, I don't think it worked. I don't think it worked at all. I think Diaz just gained more fans out of that.
No, that's what I'm saying. It went the complete wrong direction for Edwards. But the first 4 rounds, he looked like a world beater. He looked like the guy you'd want to be a title contender.
Yeah,
But I think you were still left like leaving like a bad taste in your mouth. Where like I feel like this guy could do more.
yeah,
Like you look at the Jorge Masvidal fight, that guy was doing damage. That guy had Nate on ice skates in the minute for like first
yeah.
minute
I agree.
almost.
I agree.
Like
Yep.
like for Leon, like the body kicks were open.
And you
He
could
was hurt to his leg was trashed from the first round.
100%.
You
Yeah.
could just keep spamming that. Like there was nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
Just go for a finish. Don't just sit there and play the taunting game.
He played with the game that they wanted him to play.
He played with his food. He said that after, like he was like I got complacent. But
Yeah.
the thing is, you cannot get complacent against a guy like Nate Diaz.
Yeah, you
That
can't.
guy is gonna be there.
Yep, 100%. So for Leon, we know his path to a title shot is either to wait or see if Kamaru wants to throw a bone. That's realistic. Because if
He
Kamaru,
didn't though. He didn't though. He was like, "That's not how you get a title shot.
who
They
said
didn't
that?
do it for me." Kamaru Usman said that. He's like, "That didn't do it for me."
Hold up. When did he say that?
Like he just texted Brett Okamoto like right after the fight. He was like, "Yeah, that doesn't do it. That doesn't get you a title
Jeez.
shot."
Okay, Leon. So Leon's in a real bad position. We just hope that Burns wins and they fight so that Leon can get a solid title shot after this.
This is where you have to hope like Colby breaks his nose or some shit, like
And
and
then
just
Leon
throw
fights.
Leon in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
When do you think a possible booking could be for Colby and Usman too?
I mean August, September, why not?
I mean, it's already June. They gotta announce it by now, surely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think September makes more sense though, because that card needs more star power.
It needs more love. I mean, you say star power, but Usman's not a star, is he though?
I mean,
He's a fan.
he's still. Yeah, I think it's like when Holloway was champion, right? Like he's a fan favorite.
Yeah.
You're gonna see some insane fights, but it's not gonna be like a $500,000 pay per view
Yeah.
selling fight.
Okay. Talking about Nate Diaz a little bit from that fight we just said Leon. So Nate Diaz, bro, I think he's a good fighter, but he's not a
His
contender
stock
yet.
rose in a loss, man. Like the
Listen to
way he
that.
lost.
Listen to that. The way he lost a minute, bro. Nate Diaz. The thing with Nate Diaz, like the thing we love and hate about Diaz, he stunned him, and he's looking at him, pointed at him, taunted at him. Stockton 209 and just did this, rocked his body, acting like you all shook
Yeah.
now, huh, buddy? That's the thing we love, but that's the thing we hate too. Go finish the fight. I think he could have finished him.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like if he went a little bit harder,
And this
he
is
did
where I,
try though. Did
yeah,
try,
and this
but
is where
Leon wasn't like.
I think he
Yeah.
like kind of sympathized with them. I feel like Nate Diaz was like, bro, I don't want to fight for the title. I don't care for the title.
No,
I
no,
think
no,
he just
no,
let him
no,
survive.
no, 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 no. He landed like a huge left hand after he landed a clean right hook. Leon just ate it.
hmm
That's just on Leon. Like that's just good on Leon to
Yeah,
survive. But
yeah.
for Nate, man, like
Nate,
that's crazy.
he showed up, showed out that he was a gangster. Simple as that. That's his
Yeah,
style.
no, but like my favorite thing about that is like Leon Edwards after the fight was like, I hit him with like a nice shot, like a clean left-handed. Like Nate was like, "Is that the best you got? You ain't shit, bitch." You're like that shit. Like
That
imagine
no,
how
that
demoralizing that is.
not it is, but that shows you that it hurt. When he's saying that stuff, he's hurt. When he's saying that kind of, but his leg was gone though. His leg
Yeah,
was
but
all broken.
bro, it's Nate Diaz's role, and we're just living in
Yeah,
it,
yes,
man.
sir. We all need the sixth round, man. It's 95 rounds not enough. The sixth rounds.
He did not hear a bell, man.
Yeah, it's the six rounds that the Diaz bros they need the 6 round fights. All right, well
And
let's move
that's
on.
my favorite thing. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, in Nate Diaz, that's a win.
Oh,
He got his
100%.
ass beat, but that's a win. For
Listen.
Leon Edwards, he looked insanely good. We know he's amazing,
Mhm.
but that didn't get him any fans.
Yeah.
I just checked recently, like his Octagon interview had 3 times less views than Nate Diaz's did.
Of course, bro.
That did
He doesn't
not,
have a
he did not break
personality, bro.
through.
He doesn't
He did
have a
not break
personality.
through.
He's so
No,
like
but he
bland.
was he was right there. He was doing the double fingers. Like he did all of that.
To be
He was
honest,
in that fight.
to be
He was
honest,
doing all of that.
I didn't see the double fingers until you pointed out. Like when he told me last night, he did that. I looked back to the fight. I'm like, oh, he actually did that. He actually did that
Yeah.
because Diaz came
Leon is
in.
a yo, bro. Leon is a gangster. He may
He
not have
is.
the personality, but that dude was like his like coming up story was like the knife fight, getting in the knife fights in England, and like getting a shit beaten, all the street fights, and like this was his way to get out of it,
hmm
like to get out of the streets, and like now he's in that whole like whole program against night violence with Jimmy Manuel and Darren Till.
Yeah.
So like I think for Leon, like this would have been the fight. Like if you like KO'd him, this would have been the fight that would have got you to a level
Yeah.
to like get a
Blowing
title
you up.
shot.
Blowing you up. But
But
yeah,
like at the end of the day, like all we're gonna know is seeing Edwards on whoa, and then
yeah. He's
Nate
not a fan
Diaz.
favorite. I don't know
Yeah,
how he
like
becomes a fan favorite to be honest though.
he's such a good fighter though.
He's a good guy too, bro. When he like he's such a decent guy. He's talking. Well, we don't know how Leon is personally, but looking at him, just judging by what he is and how he carries himself, it's just a
Yeah, but
personality
I
ain't there.
also it's also kind of sad for him, right? Because this is his first like win in 2 years because he hadn't fought like other than the
Yeah,
Bilal Muhammad fight.
yeah.
So like maybe he did want to feel the whole 5 rounds, like feel
Yeah,
like
maybe,
he's back in there.
maybe.
So, but like this is also like a kind of bad situation where now he has to like fight again to
Yeah,
get a shot. So
yeah. I mean, which is okay
it's a
for him
it's a
very
tough
much.
it's just a tough one. But
For him. All right, let's move on to our boy, the God of War, Davison Figueiredo versus Brendan Moreno, the first ever Mexican champion. Mexico got its first ever Mexican champion in the UFC. We don't count
I
Henry
mean,
Cejudo. We don't count Henry Cejudo.
We don't count Henry Cejudo. We don't count Cain Velasquez because they were both born in America.
Yeah,
So
we count the real Mexican blood here, man. So we got Brendan Moreno showed up, great, pressed forward, and made Figgy look like he had no business in there with him, in my opinion.
he
He
won every exchange.
everything, literally everything, and that's where I'm like, the first fight, his confidence just grew. He's like, people look at Figueredo as the God of War and this and that. He knocks people out. He's a savage and this
I
and that.
mean, you can catch us last week. We were I was like hoping because like, oh, Moreno might KO him, like might get a left
Yeah,
head kick or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Or like
Submission, submission.
we thought Figueredo would have like
Yeah,
mopped the floor with him.
I think we did the usual. The mind says Figueredo, the heart says Moreno, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, but like
Yeah,
such a good performance because
good fight, great fight, and
like
I feel
Moreno won every exchange. Like Figueredo went lead elbow, Moreno dodged it,
yeah.
elbowed him back.
I think the most entertaining fight on the card for me. Like I rated
Yeah.
this card. I didn't rate this card like super high because on paper it looked like a good card, but overall, it's just about how the fights went after the card. Like this fight was it for me. Even though
This fight
Figueredo,
card delivered, man.
yeah. So Figueredo, we already said step behind. The weight cut. I think he
Yeah,
needs to
okay,
move
so
up.
he waited like 40 seconds before the time limit. Granted, if he missed it, he would have had another hour because that's the Arizona Commission.
Yeah,
But yeah. So the whole point with this is like, does he have to go up to bantamweight now, or
I think he needs
like
to.
does he still have a future? Because like he's kind of already beaten a lot of the top five at flyweight. He kind of needs to wait till some other fights happen to get into it.
Mhm.
But yeah, like Ali just came in now, so let's
Yes,
get his
sir.
opinion on his favorite fighter
Yes,
because
sir.
I saw his face after, and it was like me after Cody lost. So
Ali, we're on Figueredo Moreno. So if you want to talk about anything before, do you want to talk about anything before that fight, or do you want to just start off with Figgy Moreno?
You know, I just gotta talk about my guy Figgy. Just pain, man. So
Pain.
what have you guys said so far? Because man, low
He
key not a 125er.
he's not a 125. We covered how the fight went and how Moreno was like on top all the time, winning every single exchange, and then we talked about how Figueredo. We were just on the weight cut. They was talking about how he made weight in like the last minute of the time he was allowed, and granted that he was given another additional hour, and then where you popped in. So yeah, it's perfect time. Just hit us with your take.
Yeah, I think Figgy should just honestly just lose weight, stay at 125, just because it makes more sense. Because man, I don't want him moving up to 135, and then man, he should just lose some weight, lose some muscle, man, just accept it, and then
Nah.
rematch Moreno.
Nah, he asked for the third fight, but the translator just said, "Oh, he'll be ready in 4 months, and let's go." He literally
translator
said
didn't give a
Brandon Moreno.
fuck.
We don't speak Portuguese, but we heard of Brandon Moreno in there. So he said, "I want a third fight with Brandon Moreno," and the translator just said, "Oh, after 4 months, I'll be ready." So I don't think there's a third fight in there. I think both fights were decisive. Like they were like, okay, first fight was close. You could argue that Figgy won that fight because the nut shot didn't happen.
It's not that it was close. It was literally that the judges couldn't pick a winner.
Mhm.
Like,
I
But I
think,
mean, Figgy probably might get that rematch just because Moreno talked about Askarov being a rematch.
yeah,
He even talked about the Figgy trilogy. He said he's open to it.
yeah,
yeah, but Askarov is gonna get the next shot. Like
he
that's
should,
gonna happen.
he should.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Moreno and Askarov, Grates and Moreno should have got that decision, but that was a split draw because that was Moreno's first fight back into the UFC after he got cut. Like imagine that, right? Like you just coming off 2 straight losses where you looked so shit, and now you're broke, and now you fought in the LFA for their flyweight title, came back to the UFC, and you're getting some undefeated Russian who is now number 2 contender.
Yeah.
Like for Moreno, that guy has come so far from 2 years ago.
Yeah, man. Life can change in like a year, man. Taking 2 years now. He's a champ. So we got apparently. Is this true that Moreno and Henry Cejudo are friends, and Moreno used to sleep at Cejudo's place when he was
I
cut?
don't know. It might have been, but he was on the tough season. Like he got picked last on that season, where it was Joseph Benavidez and Henry Cejudo.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it was at the end of one of his interviews. I think it was with Brett Okamoto, where he was like, "I love my tough coaches. I love Henry Cejudo. I love Joseph Benavidez. Like
Oh,
those guys were like huge for me."
and he was picked last on that thing too, right? On that
Mhm.
on tough, right? Okay.
He lost on tough to Pantoja, but like he still made the UFC after. Like so, I mean,
When did
he's
he
not
get
like
cut? When did he get cut, though?
so he lost against Sergio Pettis in the main event in Mexico City. Like they were on the
2017.
hype train, like, and
Yeah, yeah.
then he lost to Sergio
I
Pettis.
remember that.
Also, that's another cool fact, right? Like we saw that main event 3 years ago, and now Sergio Pettis is Bellator bantamweight champion,
Yep.
and Brandon Moreno is flyweight
Flyweight
champion. So,
champion. Yes, sir.
but yeah, like you see that main event, Pettis like just out techniqued him on the feet. Like he just does
Yep.
what he does. He did what he does, but lost to Pettis, comes back and gets that rematch against Pantoja from the Ultimate Fighter. Cool little story there, but then Pantoja beat the shit out of him. Moreno's like face is all like bloody and everything.
Yeah.
And they were getting rid of the flyweight division at that point too, right? Like there was no real future for them. They didn't really have that spark.
Yeah.
Like they still had insane fights, but like Dana White was like, I don't see a future for them. So they cut a Brandon Moreno, they cut a Dustin Ortiz, like they cut a lot of top 10 guys.
Yeah.
So now Brandon Moreno had to spend a year out, like broke.
Yeah.
Now he had the chance to get the LFA title, won that by TKO, gets the short notice opportunity in the UFC, gets the fucking undefeated Russian Askarov.
Yeah.
And like he literally went through murderer's row ever since he came back too, right? Like
Yep.
Askarov, insane grappler. Kai Kara France had like hype back then, like
Yeah.
really good counter striker. Juicy Formiga, black belt.
Yeah.
Davison Figueiredo, right? So.
That's a good thing for him. But the thing
Oh no
is,
no! Even before that, he had to fight Brandon Royval when he was
yeah,
number one contender.
I watched that fight. I watched that fight.
Brandon Royval is so good too.
He's a good fighter. I watched that fight too, and I was like, okay, like, and then 2 weeks later, and then literally the same weekend or a week or 2 weeks later, we got the announcement that Figgy versus Moreno is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So then we got that
And they
fight.
fought on the same card too, right? Like, but this is where Moreno's skill set has just been so different from like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not like he's not getting like he got beat on the feet in his 2 losses, but now he's showing like okay, granted he's only fought grapplers and one
Yeah.
striker in between, but he's just shown that next level toughness and the next level of like skill set where like he's not going to get out grappled by these guys. He's going to wrestle them. He's not going to get submitted. He's not even going to get close to submitted, and he's going to have the cardio to get through this. And now he's like winning exchanges on the feet against the Davis and Figueiredo too. So
Yeah. So I mean, see like how each fight he's just progressing and just getting better and better and better. My question to you is that I think he's a small dude, but he can't surely move up to 135, can he, Brendan Moreno?
he's a tall guy for 25,
So you think
5'7".
bro, but the thing is, the guys who are fighting at 135, some of them are cutting to 135 like 15, 20 pounds. They're like some of them
Like
are
Sean O'Malley fights there, he's like nearly 6 foot.
yeah,
Brandon Royval is 5'9" and cuts to 25.
yeah.
Figueiredo's in the tallest dude, like
I feel like Figgy's
pound for
gonna be a small
pound,
bantamweight though.
hardest hitter.
I feel like
Yeah,
Figgy's
but
gonna be a
like
small bantamweight.
I think his like skill set fits a lot better fighting smaller people. Obviously,
Yes.
like, yeah, I think that it fits for a lot of people. That's probably a
Yeah,
dumb
no,
statement to say.
Moreno's a true 125er for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't have any trouble cutting too. But Figueiredo, like he's smaller than Moreno, but he's not that big. Like Figgy's not that big. Why is there so much trouble? Maybe because of the body.
He's
fat.
so jacked though.
Yeah,
He's so
yeah.
jacked.
Like, he has way more muscle than everybody in that movie.
Yeah, probably because of that. It's just cutting muscle.
And then we're probably going to see like a much better version of him too, right? Like he didn't throw that many strikes in this fight. Like he's not the highest output guy. He usually just waits on counters and then opportunistic submissions. This is that was a huge problem in this fight too, right? Like he was skipping a lot of steps in the grappling. Like he gave up his back on every single takedown defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What would be a dream matchup for you two for Figueiredo at 135?
Munoz.
Oof. What about you, Ali? What do you say?
Seeing Figgy, I don't know. There's not a lot of guys I wanted to fight at 135 just because they're tough matchups. I'm a fan of.
Yeah, go on.
No, I'm a fan of Figgy because I'm here for nukes. Like, who's he nuking at 135? He's not gonna be the same.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see him against Dominic Cruz because just the different angles that Dominic Cruz would hit him with, and I just
Yo,
want
I
to
don't
see
mind that fight either. That's an insane fight.
Dominic Cruz and Figueiredo, man. That would be a great fight. But again, if he comes to bantamweight, he's no
I
way
think
he
I
gets
think
dropped
if
by him.
TJ Dillashaw loses too, that's a good one.
Sure, TJ's not that big either, and TJ's gonna drop down anyway. So
I mean, TJ's pretty big, so he's a
is he?
150. He like in the cage, he's 150.
Oh, okay,
He
okay.
looks crazy,
How
dude.
much do you
Too.
think
Like
Figgy walks around at?
they said,
Probably
155.
same. Yeah, probably same.
150. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have anything else to share for Moreno and Figueiredo before you move
Yeah.
on?
So one thing about Moreno is he lost to Sergio Pettis, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Is there a possibility for a crossover, a Bellator champ versus UFC champ? Would that
That
be an option?
the UFC is never going to do
Uncle
that. And
didn't definitely do that.
Sergio Pettis gets paid sick over there, and he doesn't have to talk shit. They literally do everything for him. So at the end of the day, and he's fighting up a weight class now too. I don't think he could ever make 125 again.
Bantamweight. Yes, sir.
But
Why did Anthony Pettis not go to Bellator, man?
I mean, PFL offers you more money.
Yeah, probably just bigger bag. But yeah, all right. So let's just move on to Adesanya and Vettori. We kind of knew what we were gonna expect, but my prediction in the last podcast was, oh, if Vettori pushes the pace and did what he did against Holland, wrestles with him, grapples with him, which he tried, but Adesanya's not Holland. It's a different story. Clearly didn't work out against Adesanya. To Adesanya's credit, though, dude, him off the bag and him like getting out of the wrestling exchanges, the grappling or whatever, every time he like burst and turned his body, rolled his body, and got out. Even in the clinches on the fence, he wasn't willing to exchange with them. Like he would trade couple shots and then he would leave him. Like he would push him off and move to the side. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I think it happened like 3 or 4 times that he was clinching with Vittori on the fence, and Vittori really wasn't doing anything because he couldn't get the 2 hooks in on his butt to get the takedown. But so Izzy trying to distract him all the time, hit his head on the fence, and trying to kind of push him away, which worked like 3 or 4 times. But then there's was one moment in round 3 or round 4 when he gave his back, and it was kind of similar to what happened in Figgy Moreno, how Moreno choked him. I literally thought the fight was gonna get over, and then no, he just like nope, and he just rolled over.
Yeah, but Moreno went body triangle first, right? He went for pure control, and
Yeah.
Figueiredo kept giving it his back on every exchange for the takedowns. That's how he got up.
Yeah, so I was pretty impressed by those exchanges by Izzy on the ground because people were just like, "Oh, he came back from down from 205 fighting a much bigger dude, and now we can just fight him this way," which clearly you can at 185 is a huge difference, right? And I think even like with Whitaker or whatever, I think they're gonna try and do some wrestling, but I think it's a great experience for Adesanya before the Whitaker fight to get in some of these grappling wrestling exchanges in so that if it does present itself in the Whitaker fight, obviously Whitaker's a way better grappler or wrestler than Vittori. That there's still some like Whitaker's gonna be like, okay, I can't just be going like that without setting it up or anything. It's just not gonna be
Yeah,
that
but
easy.
I think where Vittori didn't do great was you had to get the respect in the striking to open up your takedowns
Yeah.
because Vittori's not that type of guy. Like he can do everything, but he's not like a very good grappler.
Mhm.
Or he should have committed to at least chain wrestling or something. He kind of
Yes.
half-assed everything.
Yes, he did. He did. And his strikes, Ali, like most of the times I was watching, bro, it was the same damn strike all the time. 1-1-2, 1-2-1, something like that. It's just
Yeah,
jab straight,
he
jab
needed
straight.
he needed to throw more body and head kicks just to like occupy that.
Yeah, and to Adesanya's ability of just catching his leg all the time, same he did with Costa. Got his leg. His leg was garbage, but he wouldn't admit it. But his leg was garbage after the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I
One thing
mean,
I think Adesanya like surprised. I'm not surprised. We already knew he was just composed on the ground, so I'm pretty sure like it's not a surprise that he was not dominating in the clinch, but he was comfortable. He was comfortable on the ground.
Yes.
I feel like everyone should have known after the Jan fight that Izzy was fine everywhere,
Yeah.
especially on his
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, it's just the weight difference in the Yan fight and some of the striking. Like Adil pointed out when we talked about, I think we did the potty for the Yan fight, or I think we just talked amongst ourselves. And then we didn't do the potty that we didn't launch it then. So we were just talking us three. I think I remember, and Adil telling us that people seem to think that Adesanya was winning the fight or whatever. But if you look at the strikes and if you actually rewatch the fight, just from complete unbiased perspective, Jan did what he was supposed to do, and he showcased his skill set. Like there was threat for every single thing Jan had compared to what Vittori did, and it wasn't that easy or it wasn't that close of a fight for Adesanya at all. And then wrestling just topped it up for Jan.
Yeah, like it was a super complete performance,
Yeah,
and I think just saying like, "Oh, he won by takedowns" is completely selling whatever Jan did like short.
exactly.
Like he was winning after 3 rounds before any takedown
Yep,
happened.
yep. I
Like
completely agree with that. Yep.
it's pretty disingenuous to say that, but the
Yeah.
whole thing is with Izzy. Like I think the danger he presents is more about like what he's not doing. Like he doesn't throw a lot of strikes. He
Hmm.
just makes you worry about everything, so he forces you to make mistakes and like overextend on everything.
Yeah.
Like it feels like he landed so much against Vittori, but it was actually less than 100 strikes. I thought it was like way more,
Yeah. It's
right?
more
Like
selective striking. Yeah, and then
yeah, because there's like 40 leg kicks and he didn't do too much with like the hands.
yeah, it's pretty easy,
But
man. He's lapping the
but
division
like
too.
it's crazy though, because like I know it was a huge thing in like the Jan fight where it's like, oh, his the feints, the feints, the feints.
No.
But like the feints were sick, right? Like
Yeah.
he's fainting with his hips. He's fainting with the like his rear hand. He's fainting with like his whole body. Like there's so many things.
To worry
He's
about.
like makes so many things to worry about, right? So like that's where it's like, how do you not make a mistake? How do you not overcommit to
Yeah.
something? And it's not like he hits light, and he can hit you from the next block. So it's like I don't hate like I hate the guy, like I don't like him personally, but at the end of the day, he's a damn good fighter, and there's not much you can say
Yeah,
about that.
you can't say nothing. And we just the thing is with Adesanya, and to give credit to Jan over here, like he did try and fainting in the Jan fight too, but Jan was a smart fighter. Like he kind of did in the earlier rounds, kind of ate some of the kicks or whatever here and there, but then Jan
Yeah,
was
but
like
the margin for error was a lot
for the
less in
Jan
that
fight.
fight.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Vittori isn't gonna one punch KO somebody. He's not even gonna 5 punch KO somebody, right?
yeah.
Like that's just not what he does.
He's not
But
gonna do that.
like,
Yeah,
I feel like we forgot to mention Ali's favorite part of the fight, where he can go now.
Ali,
Fourth
go.
round,
Four.
perfect takedown defense to the
Yeah.
point where he could grab his ass. I think this is underplayed heavily, and I think the world needs to know this is elite level takedown defense.
Yeah.
So if you look at the similarities between Izzy and Holland, if Holland could adapt the ass grab technique, I think he's just the best in the division.
Yeah, and to all our viewers, every time we're us three were together trying to learn jiu-jitsu or learn boxing or anything, we're practicing these ass grabbing techniques. Yeah, man, all the time on
100%,
pads,
100%.
100% against the fence. We're always doing this kind of stuff, man.
100%, 100%.
We got to get
So
that
to also talk
TMDO.
about so to also talk about Izzy is like he's a great counter puncher. He
Yep.
gets your timing down extremely quick,
Yep.
but he sets traps. Like okay, me and Joe were talking about it. The way he was setting up the question mark kick was just disgusting.
Hmm.
The way he chopped Vittori's leg, but the thing is, Vittori was just eating the leg kicks. He could care less, so the question mark kicks weren't landing. But if you compare it to Rose and Zhang Wei Li, where Rose faked the body kick and went right to the head, if Vittori could have died by question mark kick if he just fell for the feint, if he fell for the fake leg kick into the
Yep.
head kick, question mark kick. But that's one thing Izzy does, probably one of the best in the UFC, to be honest.
And
Setting
he's never gonna fall for the leg kick because he just ate the leg kick.
Yeah, just to add to your guys' point, and it's just like the whole point of the question mark is like fake to the low and then go high, right? Vittori was eating the low all the time, anyways. Like you guys said, just adding on my perspective over there, is that Vittori is just like, bro, okay, do the question mark here. I'm just gonna keep my guard up and I'm not gonna go for that. And it didn't work. I feel like the question mark kick he landed like here, one here and there, but it wasn't like a complete land. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like four of them whiffed just because Vittori did not want to react the way
Yeah,
he should have. But
yeah,
Yeah, but here's the thing too, right? Like the whole trap setting and everything. Like even like if you don't commit what like Vettori did, and you stay on the outside, you're just gonna get your lead leg chewed. There's no safety there.
exactly, exactly. So let's cover for each fighter where they go. So we kind of know Adesanya is gonna fight Whitaker in October, November somewhere because he wants to fight in Auckland, New Zealand.
So we can look into that fight later, but like I think for Vettori, this is where it's like you'd rather get knocked out early. Like that guy got like he
outclass
was
dominated.
Yes,
outclassed,
yes,
nothing
There's
he
no
could have
room
done.
exactly.
Literally nothing he could have
There's
done.
room for doubt. For a
Yeah.
knockout, there's room for doubt.
Mhm.
But now there's no doubt. Like everyone.
No, like you could say you got caught or whatever. This is like that wasn't it. Like This wasn't you got caught. This was you got beat from pillar to post. There was legit nothing you could have done. Not one lucky left hand, or not. There wasn't no luck. Even if you had luck on your side,
Yeah.
if Izzy breaks his leg, he will still beat you.
Yeah. I mean, Adil, answer this. Answer this. You said it's better to get knocked out in that situation when you're getting outclassed. Like the same happened with Paulo Costa. He got knocked out. So you think is there a room or is there some doubt that the second round against Izzy will go differently?
Okay, you're saying for Costa?
Costa, yeah.
Costa's a little different though. That
Okay, but this is where Costa can say, okay, I didn't get started. Okay, do better next time then, right?
but he got humped. He got humped. I feel
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
He's still giving. He's giving birth soon.
Not he is. He already did. The baby's here, man.
Dana's paying for maternity leave. That's why he didn't. That's why he couldn't take the fight.
Nah, Izzy's paycheck is already gonna have two baby mamas on his payroll, man. Vittori and Costa. The paycheck's just gonna get the deduction right away. CPP.
Yeah, Izzy's a bad guy, man. Izzy's a bad.
I'm kind of excited though.
I'm still gonna have to skip every one of his embedded parts in every interview he does. I fucking hate that guy. Oh my god. Even even at the fight, like even when the fight ended, there wasn't no respect between him and Vettori. They were just like,
he did try to show, but Vittori's kind of a dumbass in my opinion.
Vittori's dumb.
Vittori's a
they're
dumbass.
both okay. They both brought the worst out of each other.
No, I don't think so. I think Izzy after the fight was trying to give him respect and trying to tell him like, bro, if you actually want to improve on your mistakes, just don't be ignorant to what happened in the first fight. I think Vittori's still in denial. And bro, the way he put his hand up, that was the saddest shit ever I've seen.
That was like the Piotr Jan nonsense.
There was no confidence.
No, Piotr won that.
Piotr had his hand up because he knew that he is the champion. But Vettori had his hand up in a disgusting performance, and he knew that putting his hand up is
like, Josh Fabius School of Self-Awareness needs the Jan hand raise and the Vettori hand raise. That's all it needs.
The two hand raises side by side. Oh, man.
The true moments of self-awareness.
Yeah. So where do you guys think Vettori goes from here? Costa. Okay.
I think they might just a lower ranked fighter, man.
So.
Just like how
that too, because he can't. He's not gonna fight no Jack Hermanson. He fought him recently and beat him. So, that's the only other guy that's unbooked. Shabazian he is gonna get an unranked guy next. Yeah. So now you're between like maybe the winner of Uriah Hall and Sean Strickland. That's happening soon.
KG Calvin Gastelum, is it confirmed that he's taking place for Costa?
Yeah, that's a main event in August. But Vettori,
back in top 5.
Yeah, no, but Gastelum, agree with that. But Gastelum and Vettori aren't going to fight. They've been main training partners for like 5 years.
Oh, dang.
That's why, like, Vettori, their coach is now 0-3 against. He's 0-3 against Adesanya.
Yeah. Who's the third one?
No, Vettori lost twice.
Oh, well, true. So you got KG though, bro. His Twitter handle said on a mission for gold, but he's lost. Like,
that's his whole thing though. But
he's not.
At some point, he's only 29 still, granted, but I feel like we've seen the best years of him already.
Yeah. I don't think there's any improvements in there.
He's just gonna do his best at middleweight, and then when he has no luck or keeps losing, he can move down and start fresh. He can start fresh at 170 though.
Bro,
but
he ain't trying to cut.
My favorite thing is, like, he did an interview, like, because he came to this, he's from Arizona, going to see Vettori fight. He's like, what happened in the Robert Whittaker fight? And he was like, Whittaker was just better than me. There wasn't, like, I tried to do my stuff, and then I was like, I just kept getting lit up. Like, there was nothing, like, I was just a step below him that night. And that just takes a lot of self-awareness where you know you're not at that level. But this is now your opportunity to fight a Jared Cannonier, where you can just completely erase what happened before if you get that win.
He could move up to light heavyweight and eat more of his mom's cooking, to be honest.
Mom's spaghetti, man. That's what we like.
Could you imagine how fat he'd be?
Well, he is already fat, bro. Man's built like a fridge.
Okay, bro, he's built like a fridge, but Jan is built like a muscular fridge.
True on that. Okay, so we covered Adesanya's next fight. Well, what it's gonna be, not in great detail, obviously. But we covered what Vettori is gonna do next, a potential fight with Costa or a.
We're already coming up on an hour, so I think we could just like say whatever. Like, final thoughts on this card, Ali?
Yeah.
We talk about Brittany Elkins. We need to talk about it, man. We need to talk
Come
about Brittany
on,
Elkins.
come on, man. All right, let's do it. Let's hear your thoughts on her.
Yeah, I just want to say if we have a huge platform, we need to expose her BJJ her belts. We need to expose her gym. Wherever she got those belts, I need to go and get
She
my
has
black.
a paper cut choke loss on her grappling record, bro. What the hell is a paper cut choke?
So she won like half her grappling fights, but I'm convinced at
I don't see
155.
it. Where's the paper cut choke? I'm on her
Go
Sure
on
Dog.
Tapology. Go on Tapology.
Okay, Topology. I was on Sure Dog. I don't see anything.
Tapology shows the grappling belts.
Brittany Elkins.
I just feel like those grappling bouts are probably against other people who
Who
aren't
do
like
it on the side or
undisputed.
some shit. Like they just
Yeah.
they go a
Lost
couple times a week and that's it.
paper
But like,
cutter.
okay, bro, Clarissa Shields, mad respect to her because she did not need to do that. She did not need to give herself up like that. She was in full mount for like 7 minutes, did not quit. Like, granted, Alkin could have armbarred her like 50 times. The arm was there. And Clarissa Shields is multiple time undisputed champion in boxing. She didn't like, and she's only 26, right? Like, her
So how
whole like
many?
respect to her. That's all I'm saying.
Respects to
Yeah.
her. We all definitely respect her. But the thing is, just obviously, she's gonna take some time. She's got to get through her bit of 5 to 10 can crushers, get the experience in, impose her will on them in terms of, imposing
It's
her
fucking
ability.
insane.
Yeah,
Because the 4 ounce versus 10, like she's gonna KO people.
yeah. Her stand up is so clean, man. But again, people hyping her up to be like fighting the big women gals. Nah, it's not that yet. 5-10
But
fights.
here's the thing: why not just leg kick her?
Who? Clarissa?
Yeah, like why not just leg kick
Yeah,
Clarissa?
I mean that is a game plan probably for further future.
Elkins
Elkin
tried.
sucks. Elkin sucks.
Oh, 100%.
Elkins
Yeah,
tried.
100%. We're
We
not
need
we're
to
not
get
disputing that.
Elkin on here and interview her and go like, I'm sorry, like
Well,
what went
well,
wrong? What
no,
went wrong?
we gotta have her on. We gotta be like, what is a paper cut TKO? Can you explain that? Do you care to explain? How do you lose via a paper cut?
That brings me to another thing: the Paul Craig and Jamal Hill thing. So apparently, that referee was just a local referee for the Arizona
Yeah, I
Commission.
saw that too.
That's crazy to me.
Why?
You're on a UFC card. You cannot
Biggest
deal with
card.
So they
you
got Jason
cannot deal with
Herzog.
that garbage.
You got Herzog. You got what's his name? Herb.
Beltron did the co-main, the Herb Dean. But like, here's the thing: you cannot have a guy like that reffing. He's apparently a BJJ black belt. How do you not see the
How do you
guy's
not see
arm
it?
is out of socket? How?
I think he was just nervous, man. I think he was just like, I don't want to make a bad
Maybe, yeah.
decision, and he made a bad decision. He went for
He made a horrible
Yamasaki.
decision.
And he went Yamasaki.
That's the thing. Like, you need to be decisive in whatever you're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
There's no like what was one of the bad stoppages you had? Like off the top of my head, the Ankalaev and Kutalaba first one. McDonald was like when he saw Kutalaba moving like that, he wanted to stop the fight right there. That was stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was like going in halfway.
I think Kutalaba is kind of a dumbass too, though. I think he was. I think he was acting rocked or whatever.
But it wasn't done. He wasn't done.
He wasn't done. Yeah, I do agree. Like, I think Kutalaba was just being a dumbass.
You're never gonna stop. You're never gonna stop the guy. Literally threw an overhand right, and then McDonald stopped the fight at that moment. That was the dumbest time to stop.
Yeah, but the way he threw it, it felt like he was on his last, thing, trying to do.
He's fighting back. You still gotta give him a chance.
No, I'm not saying that the stoppage was good or anything. I'm not.
Okay, yeah, no, that's all I'm saying. But like, okay,
I think
could you guys bring up another example of like where you saw like a bad stoppage and it was like a random referee?
Bro, like imagine a Derek Lewis, like you know how Derek Lewis did that against JDS. Derek Lewis acting all hurt or whatever, and I think Kutalaba was trying to do the same thing, acting all hurt or he's rocked, and let Ankalaev come in, and then so he can murk him.
Yeah, no, but then you let it play out.
Yeah.
You let him drop. You let him drop.
No.
You let him get KO'd. You let that happen.
Yeah.
They know what they came in for.
Yeah, I mean, we're not arguing over the ref. It's just I'm saying Kutalaba, I think he did it on purpose.
Like, okay, agree. But like, let's say for Derek Lewis, at that moment he wasn't intelligently defending himself, right? But if the other guy,
was he really not intelligently defending
but
himself?
like, if the other guy is not on his ass, then you don't stop that.
No, you don't stop that.
It's like the Rosenstrike and Overeem one. Mm-hmm. Overeem's lip was in pieces, like, but Rosenstrike was walking away. Why did you stop that fight?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Overeem won that.
Yeah, he did. He did. Oh, talk about Ubereem. He's back. Glory kickboxing,
Glory
baby.
kickboxing,
Kickboxing,
baby.
yeah.
Horse beef time. Horse beef. Horse beef.
I
Horse
just
human.
I just
It's
hope he fights other 40-year-olds and not just some killers.
Do
Ubri.
they drug test over there?
I don't think so.
Not as much.
Uberim's grocery list or drug list gonna be horse meat, horse beef, horse semen, all sorts of TRT. Get juiced up. Literally, give it 6 months. His traps are gonna come out of his freaking body, man. He's gonna be built like a kangaroo. Uberim. I don't know why
Bro,
he's still fighting though. I think he's just.
bro, I have just seen a $50 get to 30% Uber Eats thing when you spend 50 or more,
What do you
and
get?
then I've seen I just got the notification that I got it. I had 75% off a few days ago too, but the point is, I just saw you spend $50 at Popeyes to get a $5 reward, and I think I'm just gonna spend $50 at Popeyes.
I
now.
got Popeyes recently on Thursday. You have to fill up a survey. So I got the 3 piece. You have to fill up a survey to get an extra piece. So it was literally a quick survey. I went on my phone, redeemed a coupon, and she asked me, "What piece do you want?" I'm like, "I want the chicken breast, lady." So I got my chicken breasted. I got my 3 piece. Sorry, I gotta get that 4 piece. Got my 4 piece and a biscuit. What? Yeah, man. But yeah, all right. So I think we're we're getting sidetracked. I think let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. No. Korean Zombie, Dan Ige. Who are you
yes.
picking and why?
We got. Well, hold on a second. I think we got. Well, there's Olenek. Olenek doesn't count. It's just PVAC fight. Okay, so
It's a one fight. It's a one fight card.
yeah, so Ige, TKZ, Ige, like you explained last, I think in the Cody podcast, you explained out what kind of fighter Ige was, and knowing TKZ, I'm going for TKZ, man. This fight, the fighting style, I feel like TKZ is gonna be all over him, in my opinion.
I'm going Ige, man. I'm going Ige.
50K Ige.
It's 50K. Just because okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna go TKZ because I love that guy. I'm an honorary Korean, and I'd make my old roommate cry. I didn't
I
pick
think
him.
TKZ is
So
on his way out, man. TKZ is getting old, man. He's on his way. He's on
okay,
the
yeah,
way.
but he's getting old, but he's not old in like MMA years because he doesn't have that many fights.
Yeah, but yo, he's
It
been.
looks
He
like
just
he's
had a
going
lot.
down.
He had the military service in there, and he had that ACL injury there somewhere. So like he lost 4 years there. So I mean, if he loses, then you close the book on his contendership. But like this is a fight where Zombie wins.
He needs it.
But
Yeah.
like he like for Ige, I think he's faster.
Mhm.
But Zombie doesn't die, and Zombie's an insane counter striker.
Yeah,
But if
So
he dies, he gets 50K. So I mean, it just makes sense.
yeah, give him man, give him a donation before you leave, man. 50K,
mhm.
send donation. But again,
Yeah, but this is where like the winner still doesn't go anywhere. I don't think like
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
you have Yair and Holloway
yeah.
who are probably gonna title shot after Volkanovski Ortega in
Kind of
September.
weird though. Kind of weird though.
But then this is where Arnold Allen comes in and probably gets the winner.
Yeah,
Oh, that
MMA
makes sense,
fans, we know like a Volk Max 3 fight is solid. Like it's, I think you can make it, but casual they'd be like, yo, he's already beat him like twice. Why?
Yeah, no, I'd rather see Holloway go up to 55,
Yeah,
but
I think it's the perfect opportunity for him to
No.
go up. I think it's the perfect opportunity to beat this guy and go up. If there's not a third fight, because there's nothing else. What is he gonna do? Just keep beating these contender guys?
like he's already like in the second fight he proved his point. Like we know what Holloway brings to the table. We know what Volkanovski brings to the table. I just want to see them fight different people.
Exactly. I think it's a perfect opportunity. I think Max Holloway is the greatest featherweight of all time right now.
But this is but the another interesting thing is like Volkanovski is like had COVID for like COVID bad.
Yeah.
So and every other fighter who's had it bad like has looked like shit.
Yeah.
And Cody looked like shit.
Yeah.
We don't know how Chimaev's gonna look.
I mean, okay. Go back to Cody. I think you're a bad guy there. I think Cody just got outclassed. I think he just fought a better
He
fight.
got a class, but I think like a part of that is he never looked like that before either. So, all right, I guess we can wrap up here
Wrap it
though.
up. We got our predictions in for UFC Fight Night.
I'm gonna say Zombie by KO though.
I don't know. I think Zombie by decision for me.
I think it's Zombie by KO or
decision.
Ige by decision.
I got Ige by decision.
Okay, so Zombie by decision.
It's like a 50-50 fight though.
But I want Ige by knockout, so he gets that 50K. But Ige for decision.
Your decision. All right, everybody. That's our recap after UFC 263. Adesanya, Vettori, Figueiredo, Moreno. We had Ali joining us for the last 2 fights. We appreciate his takes. Yes, Ali. All
I
right.
have one more take. I have one more take.
Yeah.
Ortega will be the reigning champ at 145 because he's deep in Tracy Cortez's
Oh my
cheeks.
god. Oh my god. Sorry,
That
bro.
hurt me so bad.
It's part
That
of
hurt me
that.
so
It's
bad. They
it's part of
showed
the
it,
ass grabbing technique that we talked about earlier, man.
bro. They
God
showed it,
damn.
and then I fell right into Ali's lap, bro. I was
Yes,
like, "What's
sir.
going
Yeah,
on
I didn't
here,
know she was
man?"
Mexican, bro. He's
Ortega's
Mexican,
winning.
man.
Ortega's winning, man. He's winning. He's just winning. He
Yeah.
has to win.
Yeah. All right. So
All right.
Ali's
Yeah.
predictions in. Ortega is going to be the 145 champ, and we probably see Max Holloway Ortega too. That's how we.
Yeah.
That's
All
how
right.
we're putting it out there in the universe. All right, boys. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. That was a recap for UFC 263, and we'll be back next week. Take care and peace
All
out.
right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Later.